Welcome and thank you for watching another video. Today we are going to talk about fast ranking using Excel functions and tools. We are going to discuss 5 rank functions: the max function, the min function, the large function, the small function, the rank function. In addition to them, we are going to review the rank and percentile analysis tool. In order to gain a better understanding of these basic statistical concepts, we are going to discuss the following example. Here we have a sample of 30 Facebook users, and the table here has their names on the left and their age on the right. So let's go to answer the first question: how old is the eldest user? We are going to use the max function. It's a piece of cake. So the eldest user is supposed to be 65 years old. How old is the youngest user? We are going to use the min function. So the youngest user is supposed to be 16 years old. How old is the third eldest user? We are going to use a function similar to max function, the large function. However, this function has two arguments. The first argument is the range, and the second argument is the rank, that is 3. So the third eldest user is 63 years old. How old is the second youngest user? We are going to use the small function. And this function has two arguments too. The first one is the range and the second one is the rank. So the second youngest user is supposed to be 17 years old. What is the rank of Rachel in the list? Here is Rachel. We are going to use either the rank or the rank.eq function. What is their difference? As you can see, the rank function is compatible with 2007 and earlier versions of Excel, while the rank.eq function is compatible with later versions. So we are going to use the rank.eq function. The first argument of this function is the value, the age of Rachel, that is 22. The second argument is the reference list that we are going to log with F4. And the third argument is optional and is whether you want the order list to be descending or ascending. This argument is optional and we are going to keep it out. So the rank of Rachel is 27. However, what happens if two Facebook users have the same age? If we copy and use the rank.eq function for David and William, we will find that they both have a rank equal to 2. So somebody could say that David is second in the list and William is third in the list, while somebody else could tell that William is second in the list and David is third in the list. In order to alleviate this problem of duplicate values, we are going to use the rank.average function that takes the average of the second and the third rank. So if we use this function, the rank of David is 2.5 and the rank of William is 2.5 too. As before, the first argument of the function is the age of David. The second argument is the reference list. And the third argument is optional and is the order. We copy this formula for William and we find 2.5 as well. If we would like to have a summary in an easy and fast way of all these ranks, we could use the output of rank and percentile analysis tool. So from the menu bar, we would select data, data analysis. From the scrolling list, we would select rank and percentile, and we would press the command button OK. For the input range, we would select the data including the label. We would not forget to check the labels checkbox. And here is the output range. As you can see here, we have a summary of all the values of our sample, and next to them we have their rank. As you can see, for both William and David, the rank is 2, meaning that the rank and percentile analysis tool has the same logic as the rank.eq function. In other words, if we would like to compare rank functions to the output of the rank analysis tool, we would probably select the rank analysis tool because it is much faster and much easier to use. However, as you can see, the rank and percentile analysis tool does not bring the name next to its value. However, it brings its position. So, for David, we can see that he is in position 13, and for William, he is in position 25. If we would like to have the name for each age, we could use a combination of the match and index function. And let's check it out in the following example. So, what is the name of the youngest user? Of course, we would use the min function. However, we would use it as a combination with the match and index function. So, we start typing the equal sign, index. The first argument of the index function is the column where the names are located. The second argument is the match function. The first argument of the match function is the lookup value, that is the minimum value we are looking for. The second argument is the lookup array. And the third argument, that is optional, is the match type that is equal to 0 because we want an exact match. So, as you can see, the name of the youngest user is Helen. So, in other words, if we would like to compare the rank and percentile analysis tool to a combination of the rank functions on the one hand and the lookup functions on the other hand, that means the index and the match function, we would probably use the combination of rank functions and lookup functions because they provide us with information that are not provided by the rank and percentile analysis tool. Thank you very much for watching.